You, what's up, everybody? I don't expect I don't know. I don't know what else what all we're really gonna focus on here today. So I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. Also, who knows? Maybe we'll just kick back and play something. Who knows? See how things kind of go. What's up, Kyle? Good afternoon, Omni. Haven't been on live streams lately due to trying to catch up on The Witcher and Cobra Kai. How have you been? Been doing good. I've been doing pretty good. It's been a busy week, catching up with some appointments and stuff. Adult getting old shit. So see how that whole thing goes. What'd you think of The Witcher and Cobra Kai? What's up, Island Punch? Stixie. Sheena made it. Hell yeah. Do you think we'll see more of the criminal syndicates and underworld in Andor? Oh, I would have to imagine. I mean, that's kind of where that show's going to live, right? Rogue One definitely kind of set the precedence for the darker side of the rebellion and stuff like that. So I'd have to imagine maybe we'll come into conflict with some of those things. But we'll just have to wait and see. Good whatever time it is there. It is 4 p.m. Air wasn't expecting it, but Peacemaker is great. Boba's okay. Moon Knight trailer got me so hyped. What games are you looking forward to this year? I'm not sure what actually comes out this year as far as games go, because things keep getting pushed back. I think Elden Ring is still supposed to come out this year, but I'm not sure if it is or not, or if that got pushed back. I can't remember, but I definitely want to play that when it comes out. Aside from that, I don't really know what releases this year. I'm not sure. As far as games go, I'm not sure what's actually supposed to come out this year. We'll just have to see. By the way, just gave you your 7th like. Well, thank you, Green Octagon. Octandom. Sorry about that. How are things going on your end? Pretty good, pretty good. Just rewatching some Peacemaker. Had some lunch, and now I got my wine ready to go. What's up, Susan? What do I think of Boba Fetterkai? I don't get the reference, but I like it so far, man. I do. What kind of wine tonight? Some more of that blackberry local wine. Homemade. Well, I didn't make it, but you know what I mean. Which is more darker for you? Morbius, Moon Knight, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, or any DC movies coming out in 2022? I mean, if we're just going off of the trailers, probably, if we're like just going on tone alone, probably the Batman probably seems the more dark of the bunch that we've seen so far. So Max Wolf Night Danger, that's quite the name. What up? I'm doing good. I have a question for you. If the Batman movie is good, who do you think? Who do you want to see in the Batman movie sequel? Well, we've got Penguin, Catwoman, and Riddler in this one. Depending on what they set up, I mean, I'd definitely be down for another Joker, but I would like to try something a little bit different. Maybe like a more serious Scarecrow done in this world, or even maybe because I don't know if they're going to go the Nolan route and keep it very grounded, because otherwise I'd be like, give me a Poison Ivy, give me a Clayface or something like that. But I don't know how extravagant this universe is going to be in the long run, because it does feel very grounded from the trailers. So we'll just have to kind of feel that out once we kind of get into it. But I wouldn't mind some of those. Bane would be good, but I know we just had him kind of recently because of Nolan. But I want like a good comic book Bane, like the mix of the Venom and the strategy all together. But I think if I really wanted to go for broke on someone I really wanted them to see, I'd love to see him like face off against like probably I don't know, give Scarecrow a solo film like with just that, or Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze needs a redemption. Let's just say, for as fun as awesome as Arnold Schwarzenegger's performance was, I would love to see, because it's such a tragic character. He's such an interesting villain. I'd love to see like a serious take on that character done in this tone. So that's probably what I would say. I think Peacemaker's been pretty good thus far. I think it's just way better than Superman. I just think that it's way better than Superman, Lois, Stargirl, or Doom Patrol. I don't agree with that, but I definitely am enjoying it. I think the Wolverine comes out this year. I really don't think the Wolverine game's meant to come out this year. We haven't even seen beta footage or anything or of it at all. We haven't even seen more than just the little pre-rendered tease. So I think that game is probably, I don't think we'll see the Wolverine game until 2023, 2024, based on what we've got so far as the timeline goes. Do you think Boba Fett is going to recruit to his team, which I'm calling the Fett Vengers? Well, I'm based on the musical cue at the end of this week's episode. I'm going to have to imagine he's going to reach out to Din Djarin. We're going to bring in the Mando. And who comes with that? Is Bo-Katan going to come? But I feel like her focus is definitely going to be on reclaiming Mandalore. But then again, can she do that without the Darksaber in a way that she wants? So who knows? Maybe she's just following him around now because now he has the Darksaber. But I don't know. I have to imagine that musical cue. It's either Mando or it's just a reference to somebody from Mando that we've seen before is going to come in. But it's such a clear cue that I think it's definitely going to be Mando. Now, will we see, to answer Superbad's question, do I think we'll see him next episode? Maybe, or maybe we'll build up to that a little bit more. I'd like to see him next episode because then that'd probably imply that he's in the last whole half of the season. How do you feel about the Squid Game universe? I feel like Netflix is jumping the gun and may milk it to death. They really need better content since that price just increased. Well, the price increased so that they can make more content and make higher budget content. That's pretty much where that's going to go. As far as how I feel about the Squid Game universe, I loved the first season. So while I was like, oh, I would love to see more of this, I'm also very apprehensive about expanding on it because they can easily run it into the ground. It can easily, if it's not up to snuff, it could easily, go downhill quick, and they could milk it. And if they're already looking at more than just season 2. They've talked about a season 3 that the creators got ideas for, as well as other projects. Now, the season left a lot open. There's a lot of questions that never got answered in the season because it's world building. This is a world they've set up. We know that there's Squid Games held all over the world, not just in Korea. We know that there's different types of Squid Games. We know that there's different types of these groups. So they could easily have Squid Game Australia, Squid Game UK, or Squid Game US, or something like that. When we see iterations of these similar games being played in different cultures with their child games as the background of it, they definitely set the precedent for something that could expand into any country, any lore, any background, and have it all be connected. Even going as far as to focus on maybe the investigation efforts onto maybe certain groups that are trying to bring this down, expose this ring. There's a lot of things they can do, but it's just like you said, it runs a lot of risks with them just kind of jumping into things like that because of the success. But as long as it's done well, I'll take as much as they can give us. I've heard the Batman score. I've just heard the Batman theme. I don't listen to the movie scores before they come out, so I have not just sat back and listened to the Batman score. No. I love Cobra Kai Season 4. Great character development all around for every character. It was cool seeing Chosen and Daniel team up at the end, but I like the ending of Season 3 more. Yeah, I can agree with that. It's just such a more dramatic and tension-filled ending in Season 3, where it definitely felt like the stakes were stupid high. So yeah, I can agree with that. I can understand that feeling. Now Reeves have confirmed that the Batman is 2 hours 55 minutes long. It's officially the longest theatrical DC movie, which definitely goes to show that some of the culture at DC has already changed since the old guard. They were like, we need this to be as short as possible so we can run it as many times in theaters as possible so we can milk it for our money. And at least that they're like more concerned with. It shows that they're least concerned with that aspect of things. So it's nice to see that. This might sound funny, but I'm glad to see you drinking because I wanted to ask you what wines you would recommend for someone that is new to drinking. Honestly, I'm not an auteur when it comes to wine. I don't really know my wines that well. If I really just buy shit based on what fruit is on the cover. Which is one of the reasons I went with the local wine that they make here, because it's just blackberry. It tells me everything I need to know about it. I don't need to guess. I don't need to think about it. So that's probably not the answer you're looking for, but I like my fruity stuff. Mr. Freeze would be awesome for Batman 2. I would think so as well. Might be dumb, but how does Superman and Lois fit in with the other CW shows? Could Superman ever be in a Flash episode or random return of Kara? Yeah. Superman is great without the CW connections. I mean, we know it's tied in. I mean, Diggle's there. Diggle's coming back. They are in an official comic book crossover that's coming out, which is a little disappointing because it's a canon Arrowverse crossover comic, and it's going to be Stargirl's debut in the Arrowverse. And it's going to be in comic form. And it's being written by the writers' rooms of each of the individual shows so that it still has that voice. But the big question for me is going to be, do they reference it in there? So far, Superman Lois has only acknowledged Central City and Diggle. Argus, Oliver Queen, and Oliver's sacrifice. They've referenced Crisis. Aside from that, they've been very loose on what they've been talking about. Kara being the big question mark on why they haven't ever mentioned her. Before, their excuse was they didn't want to potentially spoil Supergirl's final season by mentioning her, what she's up to, or anything like that, because it could give clues away to the status of what's going on in Supergirl, since that was up in the air at the moment. But now with that out of the way, and her still existing in that world, she didn't die, she didn't go to the future, she didn't go anywhere else. She's still around, though. So now it'd be a little weird. Before, my justification was, I feel like most of Season 1 of Superman and Lois took place during that gap, that few-month gap where Kara was in the Phantom Zone. So she was gone, trapped in the Phantom Zone. That was my theory. There's nothing to substantiate that, but that's what I'm going with. They haven't said anything otherwise, but we'll see. Honestly, I would have to agree with you on that one. The Cobra Kai comparisons. Book of Boba Fett is a major letdown for me. I've never been more bored watching a TV series before. Every time I see Boba in the bacta tank, I roll my eyes because I don't care for the flashbacks. See, I'm the complete opposite. I like the flashbacks more than any of the present day stuff that we've seen so far. I think the flashback stuff has been the best stuff in the show up until this point. So we definitely are on opposite sides of that. What's up, Ragu? What streaming service do I use the most? Probably, when I'm not covering a show, I'm usually just watching YouTube most of the time. So when it comes to coverage, we cover more stuff on Disney Plus, it feels like. So I feel like right now, as of late, I'm getting more use out of Disney Plus than Netflix. Because Netflix just has these one-off series that just kind of come and go, while Disney Plus has us watching something almost on a cycle, with at most a week or two gap between some of the shows we've been watching. So I feel like that's the main thing we've been keeping up with, or at least for me. So I think right now I'm getting the most use out of Disney Plus. Can't wait to see what happens in Stargirl Season 3. Me too. Been watching all Star Wars movies. What are my favorites? My My favorite is Revenge of the Sith. My second favorite is Empire Strikes Back. Um, Return of the Jedi. A New Hope. Then I would say Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Force Awakens, Rise of Skywalker, and The Last Jedi. And then if I were to insert Rogue, I forgot Rogue One and Solo. I would put Rogue One above Attack of the Clones and all of that I mentioned under that. And Solo, I would put under Phantom Menace and above Attack of the Clones. I'm sorry. I put Rogue One above Phantom Menace. I forgot my order there for a second. I always forget the Star Wars stories films when I'm doing the rankings. So I've been watching the reaction videos for Eternals, and more I've seen people like it quite a bit. Yeah, that's what I've been seeing too, for the most part. Some similar criticisms here and there, but I gave it an 8 out of 10 when I watched it, so. Todd Elving just said that since COVID, Berlanti has basically said just do whatever they want. Helby has been doing exactly that, but keeping the Arrowverse connections. I just want to see Matthew McConaughey as Two-Face and Dave Bautista as Bane in a Batman sequel. Yes, let's get Dave Bautista in as Bane. I'd be down for that. Also made a wording mistake. I think it's not as good as Superman and Lois, Stargirl, or Doom Patrol. Okay, fair enough. Okay. All right, then I agree with you. But it's also only 4 episodes in, so I'll wait and see how the whole season comes to an end first before I really kind of go hard on it. What's up, Mercenary? I feel like Fennec is still such a mystery. This works in The Mandalorian, where she is a supporting character, but I don't think it works in Boba Fett, where she is the second lead of the show. I'm fine with it. Her motives are very much kind of like a mystery. I feel that. Which leaves it open, and I was like, I'm wondering if she will betray Boba Fett. I hope not. I don't think so. But that question's in the back of my mind. What's up, Barry? Do you think Squid Game is something like Alice in Borderland? I don't think. From what I know about Alice in Borderland, it's not even remotely similar. Like, where Squid Game is like elevated reality, Alice in Borderland is pure fantasy. And it's not like the same premise. It doesn't have the same themes. I don't know. Have I heard or seen the trailers for Moonfall? I think it looks like a fun mess disaster movie. Yeah, I see it at every theater showing that I've been through in a while. It definitely is weird, like with the alien machine creature living in the moon as the moon is collapsing on Earth. It reminds me of Melancholia a little bit with a combination of Transformers. So I don't really know what to think about it. Roland Emmerich definitely has a niche that he just loves to stick to. But I don't know. I don't know if I'll watch it. I don't know if I'll go see it. It definitely looks like a schlocky kind of vibe. But I don't know. We'll see. Matthew is Two-Face. I cannot picture him doing a superhero role. I think he'd do a pretty good job. I think he'd make a pretty solid Two-Face, but you're right. I'm not sure if he would take up a cape film or not. So hoping we learn more about Fennec when Boba saved her, but we really didn't. I feel like we'll learn more about Fennec in some of the shows that take place in the past, like Bad Batch Season 2 and stuff like that. I think they're purposely leaving Fennec a little bit of a blank slate because they are going to still be telling stories with Fennec. And if they write something now, that puts them in a box as to what they can do with her in the past. So I kind of understand what they're doing there. Only 4 more episodes left of Batwoman and Legends. Thoughts on shorter Arrowverse seasons? I like it because they can tell more concise stories, and that's what I've been really liking so far about Season 3 of Batwoman and Season 7 of Legends. It doesn't feel like there's as much wasted space. The storylines are tighter. The stakes feel a little more high. So I like it. I like the 13 episode mark for those seasons. What's up, Chelsea? Seen a lot of trailers for Moonfall, and I think it could be good or bad. What if Thanos appeared on Earth Prime? Well, I mean, hmm. I mean, like with the Infinity Stones, without the Infinity Stones, I don't know. They wouldn't work on in DC's universe. So, I mean, he would just kind of be a strong guy that shows up, and I think Superman and Supergirl and everybody else just probably beat him into the ground. Apparently, there will be a Squid Game universe, according to Ted Sarandos at Netflix. Yes, there is. I think I've given up on Batwoman. I didn't care for what they're doing with Poison Ivy, but if you guys say it gets better, then maybe I'll give it another shot. I mean, I'm loving all of the Poison Ivy stuff so far, both with Mary and the OG Poison Ivy. I like what they've done with her. I know you've mentioned before you don't read too many comics, but you'll be reading the Earth Prime event. Yes, it's only 6 issues, and 2 issues every month from April to June. Yeah, I'll be keeping up with it because if it's canon, I'm going to definitely call them out whenever they miss an opportunity to reference it, or anytime they fail to reference something that happens in it. So I will definitely be reading it. Matthew McConaughey's Two-Face would be awesome. Who would win between Gilgamesh, Taskmaster, Death Dealer, Andrew Spider-Man, Shang-Chi, the Mandarin, Black Widow, the blah 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 blah, if they all fought each other? What is wrong with you, man? That's too many people to consider, too many variables to consider. I mean, Spider-Man, probably. I would say Spider-Man if I had to put a money on anybody in that group, in that lineup. I think Moon Knight will be the darkest show on Disney Plus, or at least for Marvel. That's what they're saying. That's what the rumors be saying. I think recently they've announced that Arrowverse is getting a comic book crossover. We just talked about that. I guess I just can't picture him in that kind of role. Same. I could picture him in it. Two-Face specifically. I think it plays to a lot of the types of characters he's played before in other films. So I could buy that. I could buy that. As far as any other role, it'd kind of be a little bit of a stretch. Are you excited for the Guardians holiday special that comes out in November or December? I mean, I'll watch it, but I'm not like, yeah, let's check it out. Then again, that's how I've been with most of these Marvel things until we get a trailer for it. So until we get a trailer, for now, I'm just like, I'm keeping my eye out. Looks like No Way Home will reclaim the #1 spot this weekend. I wonder how long it can stay #1. Be funny for the next movie to dethrone No Way Home as another Sony-produced Tom Holland. It's true. With Uncharted coming out, you were like Johnny when he was impressed when there was... What? Did you finish your... There was fruit in his beer. Ah, got you. Johnny wasn't impressed that there was fruit in his beer. He said, of course there's fruit in your beer, because he was calling Daniel a pussy. Saying people that put fruit in their beer are not men. That's what Johnny was saying, so that's kind of the opposite of that. Kind of doubt it, since it's based on a video game. It's a pretty big video game, but you're right. I mean, there's not a lot of competition coming out this month, so to be fair, I don't know what other movie has a chance of doing it right now. That's the movie that's got the biggest draw out of anything in the box that's going to be hitting the box office soon. Can you explain this Earth Prime thing? I'm confused. I thought all shows were on Earth Prime, like Stargirl and Black Lightning. Stargirl is on Earth 2. Yeah, Stargirl's on Earth 2. All the other Arrowverse shows. Naomi, we don't know what Earth Naomi's on, but Arrow, Flash, Legends, Batwoman, Supergirl, Black Lightning, those are all on Earth Prime. But Stargirl and Naomi are not. And Superman Lois is on Earth Prime as well. I assume they'll mention... Fuck. There we go. Assume they'll mention Supergirl only if it fits the story and setting of the show. They don't want to be cheap by referencing how Batwoman references Aquaman for no reason. Yeah, but they've mentioned family, being alone, lack of Kryptonians, and talking to their boys about their heritage. It makes no sense that he wouldn't mention they have a cousin as well. It doesn't make any sense to me that in season 1 they never mentioned Kara with a lot of the themes that they tackled and conversations that they had. It felt awkward and almost a little malicious that they never referenced Kara to me. So Kara makes sense. Like they're related. That's family. Tal-Rose family even. Like they are all related by blood. That's not true. Tal-Rose not related to Kara because he's a maternal sibling. And Kara is on Jor-El's side of the family. But that still means she's blood related to the boys, to Clark, and is a surviving Kryptonian. So, like, there's so many times that would have been perfect that it felt really weird that he didn't mention it. Wait, didn't the show Lost do a lot of flashbacks? I wouldn't know. I've never watched Lost. I totally love the flashback stuff. I think let's see what happened to Boba between episode 6 and the current day Star Wars. I agree. I like a lot of that. Really, I think Uncharted would be number 1. It's a video game, yes, but it's an action adventure, and audiences love action adventures. Also, not wrong. Really like how Superman's Lois has made Kyle so likable. I fear they'll kill him though, and make us like him. Then bad things happen. I don't know. They haven't killed him yet. They might one day, but I mean, they did the reverse last season. You know, started off making us think, you know, he was just that stereotype, and they gave him a lot of depth, layers, made him extremely likable, both in his views, his viewpoint, and showing that people of different backgrounds, different beliefs, not all of them are bad. And I like what they did with this character, and he really became one of my favorite characters of the show so far. And we learned to like him by the end. And then he had that bad thing happen to him, and I thought that was going to be it. I thought that was how they were going to kill off Kyle. But he's still here. He's still around. He still has some agency towards the story and the plot with other characters. But you're right. I don't know. There's still like an opportunity to have something happen, but I don't think that they will. Not yet, at least. So what was the point of Crisis then? I thought it was to create one new Earth. It did. It did. Because they were all separate before that. Because before Crisis, Flash and Arrow and Legends were all on a separate Earth, and Batwoman were on a separate Earth. So we had Earth 1 that had Arrow, Flash, Legends, and Batwoman. You had Earth 37 that had Supergirl, and then what? Black Lightning was on. I can't remember what Black Lightning was on. So you had 6 shows between 3 different Earths. Because Stargirl wasn't yet in that same dimension, universe, or acknowledgement. It wasn't out yet. I think season 1 had come out, but whether or not they were going to be allowed to play with each other was a different story because it was on DC Universe. It wasn't part of the whole thing. And Crisis condensed these all into one. All those shows are now in one home. Then DC Universe got destroyed because they shut it down, and Stargirl moved to the CW. But because they didn't know if they were going to bring it in, it's Earth 2. I mean, in Crisis, it shows Stargirl and says that's Earth 2. It's at the end of Crisis. But all of the CW-made shows were put onto one Earth. And then Stargirl became a CW show after that. So that's why it's kind of left out of the loop right now, because that happened after Crisis. CW didn't have Stargirl until after Crisis. but Warner Brothers was letting them play with some of their other toys just by referencing them in some other ways. So yeah, it had a huge payoff. It's just it didn't work in the long run because they ended up destroying. It wasn't as clean as they had wanted it to be because some decisions were made after the fact that kind of changed a couple of things. But the bigger picture, it was all important. It was to get all the CW shows on there. All right. And yeah, where'd I leave off? Oh, Lucky, thank you, man, for the super chat. Hey, bro, I think the series with Wong training Ned would be cool. Except none of them would remember he's got powers now. Because that whole like situation and timeline's been reconfigured. I'd watch it. I'd like to see like a sorcerer's school kind of training thing, like get more of a camouflage and all of that. That'd be fun. But honestly, I would kind of prefer them to kind of forget Ned has powers, personally. That was one of the things I didn't quite like about No Way Home, but it serviced the plot well enough, so we'll see. Do you think that the Earth Prime crossover comic is a prelude to a live-action crossover? Honestly, I think it's going to be the replacement for a live-action crossover this year. Based on, because otherwise I feel like we would have heard of what's to come because they always announce their live-action crossovers a year in advance. Disney Plus is pretty good in Canada. We get Hulu content with it. And I only watched Murders in the Building on there. Cool. I am so kind of jealous of Disney Plus in other countries because it does kind of blend a lot of that mature content from Hulu and all that stuff combined into one. I feel like the international version of Disney Plus is a lot better than the one we have. What Sword did to Jordan was so messed up. I mean, if that happened while they were adults and she knew a bit more about feelings and stuff like that, I'd say it'd be a lot more messed up than it is, given these characters are 14 and still figuring out themselves. This is something that happened all the time between me, my friend groups, people I knew growing up like that. That's just what happens. Does it suck? Yes, especially because he's really attached and she's figuring things out. It's just how things happen. I can't blame her for what happened as much as because I can kind of understand it. But she owned up and she told him what happened, at least. She didn't try to keep it a secret for too long until she found a way to kind of confront him about it. But I definitely understand where both of them are coming from. They have I have some comic knowledge on Superman Lois Season 2. Do you want to know? It's a minor spoiler. You can comment it if you'd like on one of the videos or on this one if you'd like, just to avoid anybody else possibly knowing anything. It's about Doomsday. I'm pretty sure we're seeing Doomsday coming. But reactions to Kubra Kai were great. Thank you. And she's a teenager. It's not like she committed a crime. Agreed. Create a one world for the CW Arrowverse. All right. We won't retread that. I won't spend too much time kind of retreading all that. You think we could have spinoffs for Ratcatcher or Harley Quinn? We definitely could. I definitely I hope we see Ratcatcher again. She was one of my favorite characters from the Suicide Squad. Harley Quinn, I mean, we got the animated series going on right now, which I can't wait for the new season of. But I feel like we could give Margot Robbie a little bit of a break. As far as that goes, I don't think we need a Harley Quinn live action show as well. I think she works better in ensembles, but that's just me so far, at least. Other than the movies coming out, are you excited for any games? Elden Ring, Spider-Man 2, Wolverine, Pokemon Arceus, which I think comes out next weekend. So I'm looking forward to that. Hope it's decent. Other than that, I'm not sure what else is coming. There's the Star Wars game they announced, which I'm very kind of apprehensive about. Trailer looked good, but the people behind it I'm not so confident on. Wonder Woman game, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I mean, that's all I can think of at the moment. I love Finnick on Bad Batch. Yes. Recently watched Eternals, has a lot of good ideas, but it's still a TV series turned into a movie. Also, if not a movie, then at least a 2-part movie to flesh out 10 characters with the twist in part 2. I agree with that. I definitely do think they compacted too much into it, but it still worked for me in the long run. How you doing? Keeping up with so many shows. Most impressive. It is stressful sometimes, but it's a good thing. I enjoy it. I'm just happy Billy D. Williams got to voice Two-Face in the Lego Batman movie after being dropped from the Batman movies when Tim Burton left. Right. That is good for him, man. Harry Potter reunion special made me go down a Harry Potter rabbit hole by rewatching the movies and rereading the books. Definitely. If I had the time, I definitely would have done a rewatch. But I have not. Do we know when the Flash will return? It's in March. Flash comes back in March. They gave a date, but I don't remember exactly what day it is. But it comes back in March. Maybe they'll let the show develop it on its own without questions of where Arrowverse characters are. They could give us a show on its own history and superheroes without worrying. What was that in reference to? Oh, I don't know. I can't find the one that was in reference to. I had no idea that there was a Harry Potter prequel about Sirius Black and James Potter. There is. I didn't know that. For what I read, execs loved it, but they made main WB hated it. It's the reason Jeff Johns moved to the series to the CW with Berlanti's help. Yeah, I don't believe that at all, because it performed extremely well. As for why Stargirl got moved to CW. For the demographic, for the style of show, it made more sense for it to be on CW than on HBO Max. I think they made a smart play with it. Whether WB hated it or not, I don't know why they hated it. It was one of the more critically approved and loved shows that they made. Like, it was getting a lot of attention for one of their DC Universe shows. I want a Moon Knight Daredevil team up. That'd be fun. Doomsday versus Boba Fett. It's not a fight. That's a massacre. Doomsday would just squish Boba Fett. Boba Fett couldn't even hurt Doomsday. Not even remotely. I almost missed the stream because I've been trying to write a plan for a Suicide Squad series. That's the sequel to the 2021 movie. It's been quite challenging, but also cool to learn some unknown bads. Oh, that's cool. Drop it whenever you get a chance. A couple days ago, I beat the Guardians of the Galaxy game. Awesome. Still have not played it. I still don't know if I'm going to, but we'll see. Oh, yeah, that's my bad. I misheard it. Oops. Do you think that we could see Secret Warriors, Marvel's rising lineup in the MCU? I don't know who those are. I don't know who they are, so I can't tell you if I think we will. I still have to try Naomi. I watched the first episode. I have not watched the second one yet, so I'm just not motivated to watch it right now. I was definitely not thrilled with the first episode, as I mentioned last stream. I still don't know why Diggle came back to Gotham. I mean, he mentioned at the end of the episode, he sent that box to Luke to have him see if he could open it. So he was coming to pick up the box. So that's why he was in Gotham this week. We got that answer at the end of the episode. Hi, Omni. Didn't receive the notification. What on tap? Need to get my wine, Heineken, and start watching the discussion. Well, welcome, buddy. Naomi is a good opportunity to introduce Superboy Prime, because in its universe, in the comics, there were no other superheroes. I mean, you could, though I don't know why you'd introduce Superboy Prime. He wouldn't originate on this universe. I mean, he could come from another universe. He could be the Superman that invaded her universe and then left. I'm kind of hoping that it was Brandon Routh's Kingdom Come Superman that invaded and disappeared, but That was the only thing in the episode that interested me at all. I was like, who's that Superman? Why is it Superman here? Apparently he's fighting Mongol. Well, it seems like Iris's ex-husband slash boyfriend is returning the Flash. That is correct. We've known about that for a hot minute. I just finished episode of Peacemaker. Damn, I haven't laughed that hard in a long time. Yes, I definitely, it cracks me up, man. It really does. I like stuff like that, man. But I wanted to ask, which Keyblade is that behind me? Well, I've got the Kingdom Key, I've got the Dark Realm Keyblade, and then I've got the Starlight Keyblade right there. So I've got 3 behind me, back there, and then those 2 over there. Since the Avengers won't remember Peter as Spider-Man, maybe they can start referring to Spider-Man by his nickname, Spidey. More than likely. I have to call him something. I'm sure they don't want to always say Spider-Man every time, though it's not that much harder than just saying Spidey. Am I going to be buying any merchandise from the Batman? More than likely, I already have a shirt, so I definitely would probably pick some more stuff up from it once it's available. Season 7 had an outline. They wanted a final Season 8 where Superman, along with the other heroes, helping her stop Lex, a la Arrow, but the writer said WB put Supergirl off limits after Season 7, so they put Season 7/8 in one season. Okay. With Doomsday looming in Superman's immediate future, could that be a chance for a crossover? Throw all the Arrowverse characters at Doomsday, like in League in the comics. They could. I mean, it's definitely something Superman's not going to be able to handle on his own. Especially if they wanted to do what they did in the comics. So, I don't know. I'm definitely keeping my eyes peeled on how they're going to be playing this Doomsday angle. Because like I said in my reactions, we have a Superboy. We have a Steel. We have the Eradicator. The only thing we're missing is Cyborg Superman. We know this universe had one, and at least pre-Crisis, they could easily recast it for post-Crisis and do something different. But we're definitely laying the groundwork for that whole arc. So we'll see. We'll see. And then I just saw you left your tea on the counter. That tea was from last night. So that was my tea I didn't finish last night. Yeah, but I'm sorry, I'm reading ahead then. So for a second. So sorry guys. So like what Barry's saying and Kazi's saying is exactly what I said. So it's not we're just rebutting on the same topic now, because that is not what Kazi said earlier. So saying, yeah, he's right, he's actually correct, is because he said what I said. He said what I said. Anyway, back to the top. Did I watch episode 2 of Naomi? No, I did not. I didn't like episode 1, so I've been just kind of waiting. So I'm giving the show some time to air out. Maybe I'll let the season finish and then watch the season once it's all out, so I can just kind of binge through it. So we'll see. $10 bet if Marvel makes Marvel. Jesus, sorry. $10 bet that if Marvel makes MCU Daredevil and Spider-Man meet, Daredevil remember Peter because of Matt's powers. Matt's powers wouldn't allow him to remember that, I wouldn't think. I don't know how his powers would tie into that, him be able to remember Peter's identity. I mean, he'll be able to, if Peter tells him that they've met before or tells him anything about this life he doesn't remember, he'll be able to, using his powers, know Peter's not lying, but that won't make him remember anything, if that makes sense. From what I understand, Embassy still owns 15% to 20% of Hulu once they sell that to Disney, which they have a contract to do so in the next couple of years. I suspect Hulu will merge with Disney Plus. Maybe. Right now, I think Disney, at least in the US, is using Hulu as a place to dump its mature stuff and keep it off of Disney Plus. But in other countries, it's all on one central hub. Doctor Strange made everyone forget Peter is Spider-Man, not the events that occurred. So Strange and Wong would remember that Ned used the ring. But they would they though? But I guess. See, the problem with that though is like a lot of what led to those events involved knowing Peter's identity. So that's where it gets very muddy. Okay, so that cult leader woman, Allie Alliston, who who Lois was talking about in episode 2, she's actually a female version of the supervillain Parasite in the comics. Really? Okay. That'll be interesting to see if they go that route. Parasite already exists in the Arrowverse, so I'll be curious to see if they change that up. I mean, we saw Parasite in Supergirl's finale, so could be a different Parasite. Could be doing something else. Could just be a nod. I don't know. We'll see. Also, Melissa also started her production company, and they had her baby. She didn't want to take a lot of stress. Again, the end of the show. You get off limits too big, so before the renewal. Disney Plus, being great in Canada is nice, but it all comes through the exchange of being hard to find where a lot of American content is there. Most of the websites are geared towards helping find shows in American sites. Okay, that sucks though. Yeah, we have Star on Disney Plus. It's pretty fun to see Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson show trailer over there on Disney Plus logo after. Family fun. Oh, see? We're missing out on stuff like that. Superman and Lois is going on a 2-week break after episode 4 because of the Olympics. Really? Oh, dang it. That sucks. Sorry, NBC Universal owns 30% of Hulu. So yeah, once they sell that to Disney, it'll probably merge. What's up, Donick? Hello, Unium. Will I ever react to animes? I mean, I'm reacting to Attack on Titan, but aside from that, I try to stay mostly away from anime because it's just so dangerous for YouTube channels. With the flash boost from Fuerza, Strength Force could easily beat Doomsday in seconds, but the plot would never allow it. Not the version that we saw. I don't think Barry could beat Doomsday in this situation. Not a normal Doomsday, unless this is a really weak version of Doomsday. Because Flash doesn't necessarily, the power that he got from the Strength Force doesn't really give him that level of strength. Even Fuerza herself, from what we've seen as far as the strength she's displayed, is still severely weaker than Superman even. Pleasant surprise at the huge rise in popularity for Encanto. The other day I saw it was trending all over social media and the music charts. I saw it in theaters 2 months ago and liked it. I watched it at home and I did enjoy it. It's definitely not one of my favorites. I like some of the songs, but the story was okay. I liked some of the themes it tackled and it was the most relatable Disney movie I think I've ever watched. But yeah, it was fun. I liked it. I like it a lot. Did you hear about the Diggle show coming to the CW? Yes, I have. Can you make a room tour? Maybe eventually. It's kind of a mess. Are you excited for Morbius? I am. Did I see the clip that they released for Batman? I try to avoid clips. I'll watch a trailer, but I don't like seeing individual clips because I just prefer to watch it when it comes out. Any chance you dancing along to the opening sequence of Peacemaker, now that I would get a reaction, could charge money for? I've honestly been trying to figure out the logistics of actually doing it, because I do want to find the time to actually learn the dance. But I wanted to try to figure out if there's a way that I could try to recreate it, but I need more space than I actually have. So I don't know. We'll see. Do you think you pour it out? Then you go. I'll pour it out when I fucking want. Do you think that the next Spider-Man trilogy could introduce Gwen and have her arc become Spider-Gwen? I don't think in this universe. I think they'll definitely leave her to her own universe whenever that happens. With the success of Peacemaker, do you think HBO Max will explore more character spin-off shows? I only know of the GCBD show and the Penguin show that's in development. Yeah, I mean, probably. As far as we know, James Gunn's working on multiple DC projects that have not been announced. We don't know if they're movies. We don't know if they're games. We don't know if they're shows. We don't know what they are. But we know that James Gunn's working on a lot of other stuff for DC right now. So, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do. As far as the GCPD show and Penguin, I'm not really excited about those concepts at all, to be completely frank. But again, we'll just have to wait and see. What's up, John? Leave the tea out there until it becomes kombucha. Ugh. What are your thoughts on the Adam West Batman 1966 TV series? I thought it was fun. When I was growing up, I couldn't get into it because I was like, Batman's not silly. Like, I watched it quite a bit, but I never really gravitated much to it. I enjoy it a lot more now because I have a more contextual experience with Batman, so it's a lot more entertaining to watch. So like they've done some of those more recent animated films that were tied to the Adam West universe. Those were fun. But I actually watched a lot of the 66 series, the Adam West Batman movie and stuff like that when I was a kid. But for me, I was always like, Batman's too goofy. I could never really get into it. But my parents loved it. But now I enjoy it and I love it for what it is. As a kid, I just didn't appreciate it. Speaking of the female cult leader thing, I feel like this is kind of CW meta commenting on the whole Allison Mack situation. That was immediately what I thought of. That was my first thought, was them making some kind of real world draw or comparison to the Allison Mack scandal. That was where my mind immediately went. Especially because it's the CW. And, Smallville is part of their alum situation. So I think the only person who will remember Peter is Wong. Remember, he told Strange, leave him out of it. Knows better than to argue with Wong. If he knows, then the realm will break down. So I don't think anybody knows about Peter. Like, it doesn't. Again, it could, but it's just it'd be another one of those things that just breaks down the logic of the film. Because if any one person knows Peter is Spider-Man, the realm will fracture. The walls between the multiverse will fracture. That's what they said in the movie, at least. So we'll see. What's up, Michael? Long time no see. Following your reactions and appreciate. Well, thank you, man. I was a male parasite on Supergirl, and I think before Crisis retcon, I only have somebody a female parasite. No, Parasite was post-Crisis. The last time we saw Parasite was post-Crisis, just a few months ago. Like we saw Parasite in the series finale of Supergirl. They fought. In the final episode of the series. So we still do have that same Parasite. So it could be a second Parasite. Somebody else could become Parasite, or maybe I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what they do with it. But it was definitely, we've seen Parasite post-Crisis. I think the inclusion of Terry Silver is the best decision the creators of Cobra Kai ever made. And apparently they were always building up to that, which I have to imagine that was something they'd want to do as well. Because Terry is just so fun to play around with, and I cannot wait to see what they do with his character moving forward. He's just way more dangerous than Kreese in my book. So, man, make it dimmer for the family so I can't stick around long. Just saying. Hey, what's up, Nate? Thanks for stopping in, though. Hope you have a good dinner with your family. MCU Phase 4 has been pretty meh so far, apart from No Way Home. Even their TV series have been meh thus far. See, I don't agree. It's better than I expected it to be. Is it? I think it's more entertaining than Phase 1 and Phase 2 so far. But I don't know. I've been enjoying the shows quite a bit. Shame that Mission Impossible got delayed. I'm still the last one I saw was a Mission Impossible 3, so I really have some catching up to do on the Mission Impossible franchise, and that just gives me more time. So, works out, I guess. Find it funny about Encanto is that Crazy Jane plays a flowery lady and Mr. Nobody plays a toucan. Yeah, what's funny is Alan Tudyk plays a lot of animals lately for Disney films, because he was also the chicken in Moana, which is hilarious. But yeah, Diane Guerrero plays what's her name? Isabella in Encanto. Because at first I was like, why does this voice sound so familiar? And then I looked it up and I was like, oh yeah, okay, I can hear it. I can hear it. You're right, they definitely nerf Fweza in the Arrowverse, but if they were comic accurate, the Strange Forces has infinite strength, so Barry could tap into it and easily beat Doomsday. Yeah, if that was the case. But unfortunately, Arrowverse restrictions. They definitely did something different. Because at least in the comics, though, the other forces weren't created by Barry. They just always existed, and we only just learned about them later. Hope Top Gun 2 and Avatar 2 don't get delayed again. Avatar 2, I give no shits about. Top Gun 2, I'll probably check it out, but I need to see Top Gun 1 beforehand, so I might do a reaction for that whenever we get closer to Top Gun 2 coming out. Ozark is awesome. If you're not watching, I highly recommend it. I have not watched it at all. I don't really know what it's about either. Hellbang Dries Clemmer all said they want 13 to 15 episodes for tighter stories and some extra episodes to further characters. It's honestly a perfect middle point for them. Tight story and between story and filler. Yes, I think 13 is probably the sweet spot for them. 15 is gives a little bit of wiggle room for sure to let them do something a little extra, but we'll see. I like it so far, at least so far with Batwoman and Legends. The seasons felt more focused, and I like that. Something spicy about a cult leader being a parasite. Oh, 100%. Peacemaker is a favorite DC show on TV right now. For me, it's the perfect blend of DC Comics lore, humor, action, and story. No, I agree with that. It's not my favorite show on TV right now, but it's definitely the one I'm having the most fun with at the moment. That's for sure. And I just love that James Gunn's not afraid to make these really deep cut pulls for characters too, like Matter Eater Lad, Batmite, all that stuff. Like, hell yeah, man. And I definitely think that gorilla thing is maybe setting up or hinting at Grodd at some point. Kind of hope the Deadpool eventually gets a live action TV series with the tone of Peacemaker, like get Gunn or Taika Waititi on that shit. Yeah, I just don't see Disney backing anything like that. They budged on the movie on making a rated R Deadpool sequel, but I don't think that they would go R or mature with a series. Do you think there would be a hello there in the Obi-Wan Kenobi, and how? I doubt it. I mean, they could easily do it, but it might be in a different inflection, different vein. But I don't know. We'll it'd be funny, but I don't want the meme to be there without a reason. So I don't know. I don't know what the reason would be. Literally, he could say it to anybody he's greeting, so you could put it anywhere. If he says it in that exact same inflection, I mean, it's just such a common thing to say. It's just the way he said it in the prequels that made it so funny. What's my favorite book? I honestly haven't read that many books, but probably this is probably a random one. I mean, I like the whole Harry Potter franchise or whatever, but like probably this is like such a random pull, but Halo Fall of Reach. It's probably my favorite book that comes to mind right now. Let's see. It's funny that I never really saw Batman 66 as silly as a child. The Joker was always spooky to me. Nah, I always thought he was just too... Because I'm pretty sure I saw Tim Burton's Batman first. Before I had seen any of the Adam West stuff. So I was always just, why is this Joker just goofing off? I was like, I mean, he did in that film too, but he was never, I don't know. The Joker on the Batman series was, I just always thought he was just like a bad cosplayer or something, like even as a kid. I don't know. I think that was the problem for me. I think he's talking to that colonel. I'm not sure what that was a reference to. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The parasite on Supergirl was a man. The Superman Lois parasite would be a different female version. I'm just saying that we have a parasite that exists right now at the same time already. So we would just have two simultaneous parasites currently in existence at the same time. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, we could have two parasites in existence at the same time. I'm just saying that we already have one right now. Do you think Julie will show up at the end of Cobra Kai season 5? I have to imagine either at the end of season 5 or show up in season 6. I have to imagine we will see Julie one way or another. What's up, Melisnari? For me, Batman 66 is silly, but also endearing at the same time. If it wasn't for the show, Batman Comics would have been canceled. Doesn't mean I had to like it when I was a kid. I didn't care for it as a kid. Like I said, I didn't appreciate it until I was an adult. I rewatched Aladdin 2019 last night. I love that movie. Mina Masad and Naomi Scott had great chemistry. I thought their chemistry was decent, but I did enjoy the movie overall. I did like, out of all the remakes they've done, that's been, I think, the only one I've actually enjoyed watching so far. That and the Jungle Book remake that they did. However, I like the Andy Serkis Jungle Book movie, live action film, actually a little bit better than that one. First clip from the Batman has dropped. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't plan on watching I don't like watching clips. You can send me a trailer, that's fine, but I don't want to see scenes from the movie. I want to see, I don't know. I want to see those for the first time when I watch it. They also announced a Flash movie prequel comic, but honestly, gonna skip it. DCU has done that before and ignored those comics. Really, I didn't know about that one. I think the neighbor in Peacemaker is Batmite. He seems to love Batman way too much. If that is the twist reveal at the end, that he was Batmite this whole time, favorite DC show. Like, I'll just drop it right there. Favorite DC show. I'll just say it. Just fuck it. I don't care. I don't care what happens between now and then. If that's the twist, a twist, or a post-credits thing at the end, I don't... Fuck it, man. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, as far as the Flash movie comic, I haven't heard anything about it, but I might check it out just to see anyway. Ozark is non-comic related, but if you watch season 1, episode 1, you will be hooked. Love to see your reaction. What's it about? Is that the one with Jason Bateman in it? Or am I thinking of a different show? Do you think that we'll get to see Spider-Man pointing meme and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse? We saw it at the end of Spider-Verse 1 in the post-credit scene. I don't think they'll reference it again. I think it would be weird to kind of force it again. We've seen it in 3 separate Spider-Man movies so far, so I feel like we need to just kind of stay away from it at this point. Well, as you pointed out before, Omni, the Superman Lois writers want to avoid Supergirl stuff as much as they can. That was just for season 1, like I said, because they were trying to avoid spoilers. The cuffs are off now. If they do it at this point, it's just more malicious draw. I'm personally fine with it. I only care about Martian Manhunter and Lex Luthor. I care about continuity. That's all I care about. I don't give 2 shits about Supergirl the show, but I care about continuity and consistency, damn it. Love Follow Reach. I actually took a quiz on it for my 5th grade class. It was one of the books for those online reading quizzes. I failed the quiz because I didn't study. Good job, man. That's cool that it was on there, though. It's the only Halo novel I actually finished, and I love it. if I had to pick something aside from that, it would probably be um probably hmm Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban probably. I'm still working on the Witcher books. I'm still working on uh getting through the Lord of the Rings books. I'm caught up on the Game of Thrones books. I'm I got Dune. I've started Dune. I've started like a couple different books, but I always get distracted and then pick up something else. So I need to finish Dune. I don't want to finish. I only want to read up until the where part one of this movie ends, so I'm not spoiling the next part for myself. So, um, aside from that, I've read some nonfiction stuff, like some Area 51 stuff, some supernatural stuff here and there. Jurassic Park. Forgot that I've actually finished that one, the actual novel for Jurassic Park. So yeah. Which I still prefer the movie version of Jurassic Park over the book for me too. I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious about Batgirl. Heard rumors that Discovery might want to make it a theatrical release once they acquire Warner Brothers. That would be I think it should be in theaters at the very least. Both, but just on HBO Max, I think that's a disservice to the character. Well, using two different versions of Parasite doesn't ruin continuity, as you said before. Two Parasite, there's nothing wrong with that. But I just want to clarify fucking occasion. What are your thoughts on Blood of Elves Witcher book? I haven't read it yet. I have not read it yet. I haven't got to that one yet. I started at the beginning. I finished what is it? The Last Wish is the one I finished. So I haven't got to that one yet. I've started Sword of Destiny, but I have not got to. After I finish Sword of Destiny, the next one will be Blood of Elves. Reason Batman 66 was so hated is because John Peters actively stopped the show from airing again. Threatened to destroy Weston Ward's career. I mean, I don't know where that conversation came from because I've never heard of anybody saying they hated it. I know it kind of got a little rocky towards the end, but yeah, that definitely has nothing to do with anything I was talking about. So, nice little fun fact, though. Thank you, Kazi. Ozark does star Jason Bateman. In short, it's about a man who launders money for the Mexican cartel. Everything continues to go wrong for him and his family. Yeah. Okay. So I think I know. Okay, I've seen some trailers for it back when it originally came out, and I was like, "Oh, this looks interesting." Like it reminded me of Breaking Bad. I think that's one of the main reasons that I knew it had something to do with drugs, something to do with laundering money, and something to do with that stuff. But I never actually dove into it. I've tried reading Jurassic Park novel like 3 times, never finished it. Maybe I will when Dominion comes out. Yeah, whenever I was reading it, I pretty much only read it when I was at an airport or on a plane. And that was one of the main motivators to actually help me get through it. What if it's revenge for Supergirl treating Superman like shit? That's my theory. I mean, it very well could be. It very well could be. If that's the true reason, then I'm all for it, because that was one of the main reasons I had stopped watching Supergirl for so long. And like I said before, I didn't catch back up on Supergirl until Crisis came out. I was like, shit, they're building up to this. I might as well catch on what the other shows are doing. And I only watched summaries of the episodes that I skipped for Supergirl. Because, fuck it. Supergirl's my least favorite DC show. Okay, second least favorite DC show. Titans is still my least favorite DC show. But Supergirl is right up there. I just want to let you know, Clock King, Black Manta, Dr. Light, Bronze Tiger, Knockout, Count Vertigo are new members of the squad, and let's just say some will meet Graves, others betray. Cool. Cool. I actually know all of those names. Hell yeah. Scream annoyed me with the stab continuity. In Scream 4, they said Sydney threatened to sue, so she was only in 3 stab movies, but in this one they say she was in all of them except the last one. Nah. See, I didn't catch that. And I don't really care that much about the Stab continuity all that much. But how many Stab movies were they on by the time Scream 4 came out? Cause who knows? She could have sued and stopped them, but they could have also dumped a bunch of money for her to come back. We've seen that happen. So it is maybe possible, stretching it a little bit, that in this universe she came back despite the whole controversy. And like Mr. Gunn, I'm pulling from the OG run, mainly its biggest story arc known as Janus Directive. Fair enough. Oh, so next week, so next week we got Vox Machina coming out, so I'll be covering that. So we'll see. Oh, if Earth Prime Comic is a success, they could go wrap up Mia Queen's stuff in comics. I honestly wouldn't mind more Arrowverse comic stuff for some of the stuff that might be a little too out of budget, as long as they reference this shit. Like, this shit has to happen in continuity. Can't be this Disney shit where they're like, oh no, all of it's canon, but until we rewrite it and make it and change it and do it again in live action. They can't do none of this Disney shit with it. They need to, if they put it in stone that this is canon, it better fucking stay canon. It gives me some faith because the actual show's writer rooms are all involved in writing the comic. So as long as they keep it consistent, we'll see. Wonder when we'll see Bloodsport again. Peacemaker doesn't seem to harbor any grudge that he shot him. No, he doesn't. If anything, he beats himself up for what happened and how things played out. So, which is something that I'm surprised about with the show, just like how they're, layering his character so much. It's just a bit harder, mainly because I don't know what the hell is going to happen in Peacemaker with Leota and Amanda Waller. So also Argus itself. 7 Stab movies, I think, and then they rebooted it. Right, but I'm saying, like, by the time, were there 7 Stab movies as of Scream 4 is what I'm saying. Is that right? There's 7 in Scream 4, and then they did the reboot. Because Scream 4, obviously, we know was about reboots, so I don't remember. I don't pay attention to, I usually barely ever remember any of the stuff they say about the Stab films. Maybe such a forced and unnecessary show. I would watch the Mia Queen TV show over Naomi. At least it would have had Laurel and Lance in it. Oh yeah, I would 100% have watched the Green Arrow, the Canary show. Like, no, there would have been no hesitation. Even if I barely liked it, I would still watch it out of respect and curiosity and continuing the Arrow legacy. Yeah. Now, Naomi, I just don't know what the big picture is with it. It has done nothing to hook me to the show so far. You think Peacemaker would have killed Ratcatcher 2? Yes. Oh yeah. Had he not been stopped, he definitely would have killed Ratcatcher 2. I'm imagining how the hell Harley would act if she found out that Chris is alive. Probably wouldn't even remember who he was. Supporting cast and Naomi really bothered me. Oh yeah, they were really fucking annoying. Oh yeah, like there's too many characters already in the first episode. Like, I don't know any of their names. Parents, Naomi, friend, guy friend that she used to date, guy friend that she's kind of interested but she's also not, girlfriend that she's also kind of interested in but not, bad guy, tattoo guy, army people. What the fuck? I know it was shown, but I'm sure Harley was definitely pissed about Flag's death. Oh yeah, no, she was definitely upset about Flag. Her and Flag were actually friends. So yeah. think they would keep Earth Prime canon because Arrow tie-in comics like Queen Manor burned happened in the comics, but kept canon in the show. Did it? I haven't read any of the other tie-in comics except for the Crisis tie-in comics. The mystery of Naomi is pretty good, but they have already involved too many characters in her personal life. It's even worse than Barry telling everyone. Oh yeah, I definitely feel that. It's just like I feel like nobody's a good actor in the show. Like everybody is acting like they're on a high school stage play. Like I don't like anybody's performances in the show. Not a one person. And the dialogue is so cringy. And that's coming from somebody who watches a lot of CW shows and usually doesn't mind it. We never got a scene between Harley and Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, did we? I actually don't think we did. I don't think we got a single scene between those two. Now that you mention it. That is a problem with DC shows, mainly comic shows, just like the Army has a weapon to everything and always the villain is in a bad comic book movie? Not exactly sure what you try to say, but I will nod. Good point. Fantastic Four 07 reboot, Wolverine Origins, I'm sure more. Still never saw Fan 4 Stick, man. Still never saw it. The camera work in Naomi is unbearable. Close-up, shaky cam, etc. Yeah. The camera work is disgusting. Like, I know last weekend I mentioned that it gave me a headache, and that is one of the main reasons. The camera work, the editing, the framing, the shaky cam, the way they do this weird fishbowl lens thing every now and then. My head was pulsing at the end of that show, man. That first episode. What's up, SSF? Man, just swung in. What's poppin'? Not too much. Just talking about some DC stuff right now. Arrow Season 3, Queen Manor is burned down, but that happened in the comics and they kept it canon for the show. Wasn't it rebuilt, though? Because they've visited it since Season 3. Didn't they? They at least go to the grounds. Wasn't it standing in the finale? I don't know. I don't remember. It's been a long time. The new Arrowverse comic will make Stargirl canon to Earth Prime, but not Naomi. Makes me wonder what their plan is with the show. Well, it's not canon to Earth Prime. Stargirl is still from another Earth. That is the case. Stargirl will just be brought in from the other Earth into Earth Prime for the crossover. It's not saying she's on Earth Prime or that she's going to stay on Earth Prime, but that she's coming over for a crossover and then probably popping back to Earth 2 at the end of it. Amy gives a bad rap to the other CW shows because it's a perfect representation of what CW haters think other shows are. Bad acting, effects, character dialogue, story. Never trusted Ava. I tried to be optimistic about it, but that first episode was a terrible pilot. Now I'm kind of glad we didn't get Ava's take on New Gods, because I swear I might have had a concussion after 2 hours of shaky cams and the fisheye cam. James Gunn has said that he didn't send out the final episode of Peacemaker to critics in fear of leaks. Yes, that is true. Nobody has seen. Nobody outside of the people that have made the show have seen the final episode of Peacemaker. Big spoilers in episode 9. Well, there's only 8 episodes, so I think you mean episode 8. So yeah. I mean, there's got to be, right? There's got to be some big shit. Probably some cameos. Who knows? Henry Cavill's Superman shows up. Fuck if I know, man. Is Peacemaker good? I have yet to start it. It is definitely going to be for a specific type of taste. I can definitely tell certain people it's not going to be up their alley. It's raunchy, violent, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Offensive in some ways, some capacities. But man, it's been a long time since I've had this much fun watching a superhero show. Ava's a great director. She worked on Selma and the Central Park 5, but she struggles with fantasy and comic book lore. See, and like, didn't she also do that, shit, what was that one movie for Disney? The last actual, like, major movie she did? That just did not do well at all. I can't remember what it was called. I remember the trailers vividly for it, but I can't remember what it was called. I don't know. Anyway, it would really suck if they did put Stargirl on Earth Prime. Not that they will. Stargirl has an interesting history of its own, and they would have to work around or retcon that out if they fused. Not so much, because most of Stargirl's key lore happened in like well in the past. Well in the past. There's not a lot of major recent events that would really set things off too much. The biggest things that they have to tie in would be Jay, like this Jay existing on the same Earth as Arbery. And the other Jay from Earth 3 that we see pretty frequently. So yeah, I don't know. There would definitely be a little bit of a wiggling to do to make it fit. Man, I'm one of those certain people. I can handle rated R stuff, but Peacemaker is not for me. Enjoy your reactions to it though. Man, I love it. It's like peak Adult Swim on steroids for me, but with good writing, heart that I did not expect, and a great soundtrack. Some great acting as well for me. How do you feel about the OG Poison Ivy on Batwoman? I like her. I think she's nerfed a little bit for sure, obviously given what happened to her. But I think she looks great. I think her motivations are very much in line. I like her so far. I'm just very curious to see what they do with her. She's definitely the big bad of the season, so we'll just have to see. We got 4 more episodes left of the season to see how things come to a close. Hey, I'm just saying there's an arc in the comics where Rick Flag dies in a mission to Jotunheim, and it's revealed survived after an explosion. Just saying that. Also, they may have to do that for inspiration on Peacemaker. Yeah, but we showed it. We saw his heart stop. So I don't know. I mean, it is comics. They could easily go back and change that up, but we'll see. Paigey said that Flash Season 8 would likely reintroduce the new multiverse first in the show in live action before the comic comes out in June. I hope so. Because, I mean, we got a lot of familiar faces coming back. Obviously, we've seen that the Tornado Twins have fucked up the timeline. So we'll see what happens in this season. But we know it's coming. I mean, Superman and Lois has already reintroduced the new multiverse. So we know people know it's out there still. So we just need to figure out how they reincorporate it back into things. Because I do think they had a little bit of an over-reliance on it pre-crisis, but we'll see how things go in the interim as they start to kind of work things back in. But yeah, I hope so, because it would help kind of keep some of this stuff consistent. What's up, Jamie? As a non-CW watcher, I feel like every week there is a new season of The Flash. No. Nah. Just one season per year so far, as per usual. Well, this year, because of the freezes and COVID, we kind of had 2 this year. Well, it began last year, came into this year, and then started this year, started last year, and then COVID really fucked up the release schedule. Usually, there's like 6 months, 7 months between the seasons. But they've had a bit of a staggered release in this last year. I think I think these last couple of years have definitely made time feel a little more condensed than it actually is, though. When The Flash comes back, it will likely won't have any breaks since they're close to finishing filming for the season, so would be over before the comic comes out. Yeah, they're pretty ahead. They're pretty far ahead on all that, so we'll see. I'm just holding out hope, that they can at least kind of recover from last season. They started off really strong with this Armageddon event, and it looked better than the Flash has in quite some time. And I hope that they didn't bust their budget in those first 5 episodes. Am I looking forward to the Flash movie? Nah, I don't know, man. I don't like that it's going to reboot everything. I don't like some of the stuff that I'm hearing about it, but I'm still going to watch it. I'm still going to watch it. Do you think Jonathan Kent is going to be bi in this? I mean, he could be in the show, but they've not hinted to that whatsoever. So I kind of doubt it. But we'll see. What's up, Brandy? Would you be interested in a James Gunn DC universe, since both Suicide Squad, from what I hear, Peacemaker are really good, or still prefer Zack Snyder? I like what James Gunn's doing. I don't think any singular person or style needs to dictate an entire corner or pocket, the entirety of the universe, because there's characters that just don't, that have their own flair and style and air about them, like a character like Peacemaker, like the Suicide Squad. Like, it would, if it all had the same tone, I think it would feel kind of bland. And honestly, I think that's one of the problems that I had with the DCU up until then. But I still liked following that main line, like Zack's story. But the stuff that happens aside from that needs to have its own flair, its own feeling, because these characters shouldn't act or feel the same when they're by themselves, like as to when they're coming together for these other issues. So, like, there's definitely a world where they could have had like any of them. I don't know what I'm trying to say at this point. Anyway, so far, I James Gunn has more consistently pleased me as a DC fan. Zack Snyder, like I've said many times, I liked Man of Steel. I have problems with Man of Steel, but it was my favorite DC film for a long time until, well, DCEU film, let me specify. DCEU film. It was my favorite DCEU film for a long time. I did not like BVS at all, except for the introduction of Wonder Woman, because I thought that was the best part of the movie. I did come around it a little bit later in life because of the Ultimate Edition, but it's one of my least favorites in the entire DCEU. And the Snyder Cut, though, is my favorite DCEU film still. So it's all over the place with Zack for me. At least so far, James Gunn has given me 2 back-to-back consistent, like, rides. So I don't know. Damn, your reaction. Come on. This has Michael Keaton in it. I mean, as much as, even though that's my first live-action Batman, I don't really care for Michael Keaton and his Batman or his Bruce Wayne. I don't hate it. He's just far from my favorite. So I mean, I'm cool. I'm excited to see the cameos. I'm excited to see some Flash speed action. As far as the implications of what the movie is and what it's doing to the DCEU, I am not a fan of that. Also bringing back Deadshot. Gary there, love your channel. Also bringing back Deadshot, but this time with the new allies, though, starting with Secret. Cool. How would you feel about Moon Knight ending with him waking up from his alarm and not knowing what happened, and everything we saw was a dream or not, just to mess with the viewers as well? Oh, that would piss so many people off, man. I wouldn't like it. I would like it, but at the same time, I wouldn't like it. I'd be so pissed off, but so like blown away by it at the same time in such an annoying way. I hate that trope, but it would definitely make sense for this character and what they're kind of presenting. You think the Earth Prime crossover comic event is setting up things for the 10-year event this fall? I mean, we still haven't heard of a 10-year event. This might be the 10-year event, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. If they have another plan for something for their 10-year anniversary this fall, they have not talked about it at all. I still think they don't have a plan to celebrate it at all. Unless they're really keeping it under wraps. I like Will Smith, but I feel like someone else could have took the role, like John David Washington from Tenet or Wesley Snipes. I agree with that. I like Will Smith too. I thought he did fine. In the role, but yeah, I think John David Washington might be a little bit better for that kind of role. I really liked him in Tenet. Wesley Snipes, I could take it or leave it. I still like him so much as Blade, though. Who's my favorite DC superhero? Batman. Batman! Do mutants exist in the MCU now, or will Multiverse Madness bring mutants in from the Fox universe? As we have no idea. We don't know. We don't know. Yeah, we don't know. I wonder, will Sarah and Natalie have a relationship? Kind of got that vibe. I think that I kind of got just a friendship vibe from those two, but we'll see. We'll see. They usually don't announce crossover news until they announce the fall lineup, usually mid to late May. Incorrect. They usually announce the crossovers more than a year in advance. Like the big crossovers, at least, like Crisis on Earth X and Crisis Elseworlds, all were like announced long before the fall. I mean, Crisis was a full year in advance. We got the tease for Crisis. So, I don't know. We'll see. How do you feel about Jaden Smith potentially auditioning for Miles Morales? I'm not a huge fan of that casting choice right there, but we'll see. Arrowverse is one who I think has much more plans than the DCEU. I really don't get that vibe at this point. I think they did once upon a time, but I really don't feel like there's any kind of cohesion at all in the Arrowverse anymore. Want James Gunn to tackle some big name characters people know about. I'm tired of him using nobodies like Guardians of the Galaxy, Suicide Squad, and Peacemaker. I'd like for him to tackle some people we know, but I like him playing with the misfits. I think he's just really good at writing that. But I can feel like I can feel and understand it feeling quite repetitive though for you guys. I really want to see Ted Grant, aka Wildcat, in the DCEU, like Peacemaker or the Condiment King in Peacemaker. Now that would make a great, be motherfucking great. I mean, the JSA is getting opened up in Black Adam, so it's possible we could see a Ted Grant at one point coming into the DCEU. A reactor suggested Kenny from Cobra Kai as Miles Morales. Now that one I like. I think Scott is right. The comic is usually set up for the live action 10-year event. I mean, it could be, but usually by now we know when these events are going to happen, especially one that's as huge as the 10-year anniversary. You would think we would already know that it's coming, whether it's a prelude or not. Usually we would have had an announcement by now. Hell, we knew before it got canceled, we knew Batwoman and Superman were going to be having a crossover long before those shows even aired. So I don't know what to tell you guys. just telling you how it is. Although an Afro Latino would be nice. Very true. That would be ideal. That's what he does best because he relates to them because that's how he got liberty with the big names in DC. When do you think Kenobi is going to come out? I have no idea. Kenny from Cobra Kai is perfect for Miles. I got tongue-tied there for a second. Gunn usually does nobodies because it's less expectations he has for raunchy humor. It's also because he connects more to those characters. JB, I'm pretty sure that May 4th, it literally makes the most sense. Nah, I don't think it'll come out May 4th. We'll probably get a trailer May 4th. But if it comes out May 4th, hell yeah. Kind of enjoying Peacemaker. I enjoy both Guardians and the Suicide Squad, but I think there's so much missed potential. James Gunn would do good for a Green Lantern Corps movie. I personally don't think James Gunn, well, I think he would do fine. I think James Gunn would have to rein himself in and what he likes to do a lot for a Green Lantern movie. Late to the chat. What's up, Margaret? I just want to say hi. I really enjoy your reactions, critiques. Well, thank you. It's not true. DC allowed James Gunn to use any character he wants, and he went with the Suicide Squad. That is also true. They did give him pick. MCU Howard the Duck movie made by James Gunn. When? See, that would be a good fit for James Gunn. I think that would be a good James Gunn film right there. I meant that the freedoms he has with certain characters. That is also true. They were also very they were not happy with the things that he put in the script regarding Batman. Like, he talked about that. He said he's like not sure how they let him get past for that, because when he screened it to DC, they did not really like the Batman slander he had in the script. He said for some reason that rubbed them the wrong way, but when he talked shit about Superman and some of the other superheroes, they didn't care. But when he was talking shit about Batman, they definitely had some notes. But they didn't tell him to remove it, so he kept it in the show, which is kind of fun. Have seen Marvel Hit Monkey show on Hulu? No, I almost never watch anything on Hulu. I did see the trailer. It looked interesting, but it definitely didn't seem like a show I needed to go kind of run my schedule into the ground to check out. Played Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Question for you: what romance would you pursue? I chose Miranda. I've only played the first Mass Effect, and I can't, other than Shepard, I can't remember any of the characters' names. And Garrus, I remember Garrus. I don't remember anybody else's names. Did I see the new clip for the Batman? No, I don't watch clips. Generally, I don't watch clips unless I don't care for the movie and I need more encouragement. The Batman's already sold me, so I don't need to see more than the trailers to check it out. Hugh Jackman is the best Wolverine. We'll accept no other. Well, that might be you, but I will definitely accept another Wolverine. He's just the best we've had so far. He was great, but doesn't mean somebody else can't come in and do fine in the role. I want to see a Justice League James Gunn movie. Jason Momoa could do great with gun dialogue. Again, it's kind of like with the Green Lantern thing. I think James Gunn, to do a solid adaptation like that, he would just have to really rein in his natural tendencies and the things he likes to do. It's just like, if James Gunn could do it, but it would be a very subdued James Gunn. Now, DC allowed James Gunn to do whatever he wants with any character, and he went with Suicide Squad because he likes misfits, weirdos for some reason. Misfits and weirdos for some reason. Yeah, because he was choosing between, if I remember right, he said he was either going to do, his first thought was doing Superman, and then he decided to go with the Suicide Squad instead. Um, I don't know why, but I'm thinking about Gunn for Teen Titans. Humor of youth is something that he would tackle really well. Uh, Maybe again for me, I think his style is a different tone than Titans would be the right place for. For me, I don't think he's a good. I mean, he again, like the other things I mentioned, he could do it, but I don't think it would be true James Gunn. It wouldn't feel like a true James Gunn film. I mean, Batman is the cash cow for DC and Warner Brothers. I mean, he is, but they're just weirdly protective of him for some reason. Like that whole Catwoman stuff was just fucking weird. Has there been another live action Wolverine? No, not as of yet. There has not. If Gunn returns for another Suicide Squad sequel, who would you want to be in the film? Honestly, I don't have any preferences for the Suicide Squad. From what I heard, Warner Brothers wanted Gunn to do Superman, not Gunn himself. I remember an interview with him saying that he was the one that brought up the Superman thing, not so I don't know. I know he wanted Superman in his Suicide Squad film originally. That Superman was originally in the script itself, and the Suicide Squad was actually going to end up fighting Superman at the end, but that got scrapped. Killer Frost, Bronze Tiger, and a soft rebooted Enchantress. Oh, yes. Now, coming back to that, who would I like to see in a Suicide Squad sequel? I would like to see Bronze Tiger and Killer Frost. Like the actual Killer Frost. And Bronze Tiger is an underrated character, and I would love to see him in there. Catman and Ragdoll. Who do you think will be the next Justice League movie team? I think it will be Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Shazam, Flash, Michael Keaton's Batman, and Supergirl. No, I don't think Michael Keaton will be in the Justice League at all. I think it'll be Batgirl. I think it'll be Leslie Grace's Batgirl more than likely. Otherwise, I think you got the lineup pretty on spot. I don't think there's actually going to be a Batman on the Justice League at all. They should make a Bloodsport TV series. I'd watch it. I don't think it'd be. I don't know. I'd watch it. I just don't. I don't have an idea what that would look like. Then again, I didn't have a clue what the fuck this Peacemaker show would be like. So, all power to them. Surprise me. That's what I want. Not a lot of expansive history of Bloodsport to tackle in a show. Deadshot and Bloodsport would be great. Fair enough. I mean, I heard many defend WB about Batman TV series because Fox/Disney owns the rights. But since they announced Batman-related shows, I call extreme bullshit. They are weirdly biased with bats. No, they are 100% weirdly biased with bats. And I don't know if that's why we never see Batman on screen in a lot of these shows. Like, it's just so weird. And I know Fox and Disney owns the television show rights for Batman for some fucking stupid reason. Maybe that's the reason we don't ever really see a clear-cut view of Batman on any of these shows, despite his clear references, like on Gotham, like on Titans, like on we only ever see Bruce Wayne. We only see Bruce Wayne. We hear references to Batman. They call him Batman, but anytime we ever see the suit or anything like that, it's always obscured, or he's not in it, or it's a figment. It's just always handled so weird, and I don't know if that's why or because they're so skittish about him being misrepresented. I don't know. It's fucking weird. Except in Batwoman. I mean, we did flash back to him saving the Canes from that car. So we did see him there in the suit. We just didn't see it very clear in the suit. It's just so weird. I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, there's a time when he fought a white supremacist version of him called Bloodsport 2. I do remember that just from some of the stuff I was going, like, researching for Suicide Squad. My theory is that they're using Michael Keaton to bring in the Bat family. We're likely to get a Nightwing and Red Hood movie. No, I think we are definitely going to be... I think the Batgirl movie, from what I've been hearing and what they're doing with Michael Keaton, especially with that Robin mural, I think we're finally going to get that Nightwing movie that they've been trying to get off the ground for about 5-6 years now. I mean, before Smallville, HBO was developing a Batman series, and WB stopped that despite them having a 6-season outline. Yep. And they also would not allow Smallville to use Batman. Smallville wanted to have Bruce Wayne show up on so many different situations. It was teased so much, and they always shut it down. I assume we only see Bruce Wayne because they don't want to spoil the character similar to how we saw Tom Welling only as Clark in Smallville when Superman Returns came out. See, that's just, again, dumb marketing and dumb decisions because people are smarter than that. They shouldn't be worried about misrepresenting Batman since they basically already did that with him in Justice League 2017. You're not fucking wrong, man. You are not wrong. They made him a fucking joke in that movie. Did I have an opinion on the Batgirl costume? Yeah, I love it. I like it. I like it a lot. It's fucking straight from the comics. Whether you like that version or not, I think it looks great. I like it better than her armored suit. It's not my favorite Batgirl outfit, but I like it. And it's right off the page. It's her first outing. It's her first suit. So who knows? She'll probably level up. Kevin Feige just needs to pull up to DC and tell these directors how to do it. Just want to see them compete. For real. Or they just need somebody that cares about this stuff to the extent that Kevin Feige cares about Marvel. Nobody at DC really feels like they care about the universe or the characters as much as they care about checking boxes and making money. WB has no plans for a Henry Cavill Superman movie, so we can have Superman and Lois. Yep. Despite that, though, we still had Tyler Hoechlin on Superman while the DCEU was still in strong swing when Henry Cavill. So we did still have 2 live-action Supermans in existence at the same time. Regardless of them having their own show, Batman still was not being treated the same way on these other shows. I mean, we haven't had a Batman in a big gap, and they're still doing the same stuff. Like, there's definitely a bias in what they're doing with all these characters on screen, on the big screen versus the small screen. It's kind of crazy that Peacemaker's our only DCEU show for this year, while Marvel is going to release at least 5 or 6 shows. Yeah. Yeah, it is, man. I thought it wasn't perfect, but pretty good. Like a tad too shiny. Oh, I mean, it's fine. I'm not worried about, I wasn't put off by the collar at all. Hey, DC, I'm open if you're watching. DC owns about 60% of Batman TV rights. Fox owned broadcast and distribution, but before Disney buyout offered to sell it for $500 million or less, but some reason they said no. And it's probably because Batman works better on, I don't fucking know. I don't know what DC's deal is with that. I don't know what's going on with that. Bruce Wayne is a major character in that series, and in the final episode, they use a stunt double that you can barely see in the suit. Agreed. That was so fucking annoying, man. How they used Batman in Gotham. I know I'm a bit younger, but I got a big love for Batman. So I mean, and also Superman and Flash. So I'm putting with you. I'm just putting to you. Oh, okay. It's more of your pitch to WB. Just noticed that the Batman comes out in 2022, which means we haven't had a solo Batman film since 2012. The Dark Knight Rises, which makes it 10 years now. Yeah. Yep. March 4th, assuming it doesn't get pushed back before that, March 4th, we'll be seeing the Batman. Maybe they were able to use Superman and Supergirl because he was technically dead in the DCU at the time. I don't know, man. I don't know what the reasons are. They don't make sense for a studio that wants to do... Well, at the time, while that was going on, they had no interest in this whatsoever. But for a studio right now that is touting and living behind the multiverse, they are so afraid of showing certain iterations of their characters. Yet they have this goofy, weird-ass Batman on the Harley Quinn show, and that's fine. I mean, it's cartoon, but they still are afraid to let Batman be intimate with a woman in a way that a true man should. So far, Peacemaker is a 6 out of 10 for me. I need more action. This is not CW. This is HBO. Budget in the world. Hope the next 4 episodes jump it up. See, I prefer substance over action. I don't need mindless action to keep me entertained. Not saying that's the case for you. You might just not like it in general, but I have not found it boring in the least. You're talking about Batman giving head again? Yes! Yes, it came up. I just wasn't going to say it. But thank you for calling it out. With Smallville, the showrunner said that they and WTV got into a verbal fights with WV Film over Batman. Yeah. I will never forgive WB for what they did to Deathstroke. I mean, like, cock-blocking Joe Manganiello and his solo film and all that jazz. Such a good pick, too. And he looks so good, and that suit is so good, and it's all going to waste. And now, again, he has no interest in anything that they're doing. WB, why? I think back then it was okay, but DC had high hopes for live-action films. But after Justice League, they lost faith in big characters like Superman and Batman. They're putting the blame in the wrong spots is what they've been doing. And now they're just... now, the reason I think they're getting away from Batman and they're getting away from Superman and live-action films is only... I think it's only because they want to distance people's ideas of those last versions they saw, when they can just revitalize those characters in a better way. Like, fuck, man. I mean, honestly, like I had said, they could have just acknowledged the Snyder Cut as canon, and it would not have fucked up their continuity at all to keep it. And that would be fresh in people's minds. It would be fine. But it's what it is. It is what it is. This is why I'm scared about them having Poison Ivy on Batwoman. Does this mean that we won't get a live-action Poison Ivy in the movies for a while? Probably. Probably. At a different time now, under Walter Amada, DC is open to different characters at the same time. Superman and Lois has nothing to do with DCU not using Henry Cavill. Rumors are Henry Cavill's asking too much in the negotiations. Yeah, that's what we've been hearing for a long time, is that they have not been able to agree on any kind of terms. Because he definitely wanted a lot more money than they were willing to give him for the cameo in Shazam. That's certain, but I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. They also seem to not have any respect for their creators, their creatives, or their actors for that matter. WB. Maybe not DC Films, but definitely WB. Definitely WB. Also preventing Manu Bennett from showing up in Arrow. Yep, there was that. How are we able to get a Flash TV series and a Flash movie? See, it's that kind of contradiction. It's fucking... It makes no sense. We've had 2 Flashes in live action living simultaneously, but they the second they think, oh, we need to make sure people are focused on the right Batman, or some bullshit like that. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, we have Michael Keaton Batman and Robert Pattinson's Batman coming out now, so they don't have a problem with that, unless We don't actually see Michael Keaton in the bat suit in this movie, and it's just Bruce Wayne. They just pull the Gotham shit over our eyes again. I don't know. I don't know, man. Isn't the DC afraid the viewers will not know the difference between the Arrowverse and the DCEU? That was before Walter Amada, but yes, that used to be the case. Still didn't stop them from having two Flashes at the same time. So what do you think of the clip they released of the Batman? I guess, yeah, I know people keep coming in at different times, but yeah, I'm not watching the clip. I am not watching the clip. Give Henry the money. He's Superman. Don't worry. It'll just be Supergirl next. I don't know what's going on, man. I really don't. Like, I don't, like, have Supergirl, have Batgirl, but it shouldn't supersede the other characters that exist. They are very different characters. They are not, you can't just swap them out for one or the other. Can we not have a Superman and a Batman and a Supergirl and a Batgirl at the same time? Why not? Let's see Tyler and Rob do some crossover with each other and when the Stargirl will turn. Tyler and Rob? I'd love to see Tyler and Rob do some crossover with each other. Rob? Clarify, JLR. I don't know what you're saying. I don't know who you're talking about. Sorry. They should let Bruce have the rain kiss with Diana just for that Daredevil reference. Flash has been so much more popular due to this show. It almost makes it 10 years since it premiered. So having a live-action Flash movie will just confuse people, especially with WB behind this. Well, I'm still doing it anyway. It's not just money that he wants. He does want creative control. I do remember that being part of it. Berlanti planned a Arrowverse in movies back in 2009, but WB was ashamed of having him, so they purposely kicked him out before he got a chance to make it. And there are rumors still floating around. There are still talks floating around that we might be getting some Arrowverse movies sometime in the future. Oh, okay. Pattinson, Tyler Hoechlin, Superman, and Patterson is Batman. I think he means Robert Pattinson. I think Gal is the only Wonder Woman we will see, hence why I don't think Diana will ever show up in Titans in a scene with Donna. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's a multiverse, but we're afraid to like have multiple characters. It pisses me off. It's so fucking annoying. DC multiverse, but you can only see one of this person, two of them. Unless I have 8 of these guys, and none of those. Fuck it. He's just, I call him Batting Battinson. What? Batting Battinson? That's too much. They've called out Roy twice, or more than twice now so far across Titans. So I would like to see Roy in Titans, maybe Titans season 4. And apparently Titans season 4 is supposedly getting a budget increase. Thank you again, Warner Brothers, for whatever you're giving that show a budget increase. The budget's not the problem with that show. Give the budget increase to the shows that need a budget increase. That show just needs better fucking writers. Your writers are trash. Unless the budget is for better writers. I don't fucking know. Oh, good night, Kazi, man. Good night. Damn, it's already been a year since Ray Fisher was fired from The Flash and probably the DCEU. Ever since the announced Fantastic Four, I've been thinking about what has just as bad as the previous one. That would sting. Yeah, man, if that's like Marvel's first true miss, that would suck. Bring back Gotham to show. They can't. They got to Batman. And Warner Brothers won't have Batman on TV in live action, so fuck. Superman and Lois wanted to introduce Lex. They should have had John Cryer or recast. I'm scared because Cryer was great as Lex, but I don't know if they would fit the tone of Superman and Lois. Well, the writers and the showrunner have said that they're very interested in working with John Cryer. John Cryer's talked about wanting to be on that show. So I think it's very likely if we see Lex, it's going to be John Cryer's Lex. I swear, if Dylan O'Brien isn't cast as Nightwing, I'm going to go Peacemaker on WB. I mean, he's a fine casting. I think Titans did really great with the casting for Dick Grayson, but the writing for his character has been horrible. Why would Tyler Hoechlin cross over with Robert Pattinson? It makes no sense. He already has a Batman in Warren Christie. Yeah, it wouldn't make sense. I'd like to see it, though. I'd like to see those actors. And we've seen Tyler's Superman exist on other universes where some of these characters don't exist. So he could just play an alternate Superman, but just be the same actor. We've seen that happen quite a few times, so it'd be fine. He just wouldn't be the Arrowverse Superman if that happened. Unless it was some multiversal bullshit that made it happen. Let's just forget about Arrowverse Batman. No! I will not let Arrowverse Batman go. He exists. Warren Christie, I would like to see in the suit. Let's do it. Let's have him on I want Warren Christie to show up as Batman on Superman and Lois. Make it happen. If John Cryer shows up on Superman and Lois, would they even reference him being trapped in the Phantom Zone? Fuck, I don't know. No idea. Never really thought the DC's issue includes not trusting their audience, but this really does seem to show that. Oh yeah, there's tons of evidence and reports and discussions about how much they think audiences are pretty fucking dumb. Because Warren Christie's Bruce is yet to show up. We've seen Ezra and Grant's characters meet each other. The real Bruce himself, but we've seen Warren Christie at least. So as Spirit Bruce and as Thomas Elliott Bruce. Love Tyler's Superman costume. Every time I see it, I get excited. Probably won't mention Lex since they haven't mentioned Kara. The writers and the showrunner want to do Lex, so I think we'll do Lex at some point. In my opinion, Dylan O'Brien would be a great as Robin. From Teen Wolf to Maze Runner, his acting range is phenomenal. Bring back Batman in Batwoman. Maybe at the end, maybe when Batwoman finally ends, we will actually see Kate Kane return with Batman or with Bruce. That'll be the end of the show. And we won't get any answers as to what Batman has been doing this whole time. Why can't there be Batman on TV? I don't know. No idea. No idea. Whew. All right, guys. I'm going to call it for this stream, guys. If you have any other questions, drop it in the Discord, drop it in the comments, and I'll try to get to you guys as quickly as possible. But I'm going to wrap it up and maybe take a nap. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, real quick, though. I see some things pop in here real quick. My theory is Lex Luthor is already here. That lady at the end was talking to Lex, I hope. See, that's what I thought, too. I thought maybe she was probably on the phone with Lex. But then, again, how to get out of the Phantom Zone if that's the case. They always reference Batman at the season finale of Batwoman, so it wouldn't be surprised if they did it this season too. So Marcus is a kid of Jada and Diggle? No, I don't think that at all. That's the vibe I'm getting. I saw some other people say that. I didn't get that vibe whatsoever. I do think that Jada and him had a fling, maybe while she was like, from what we know, he is the son of her and her husband. Ryan, however, we don't know who her dad is. And that we know that Robin was unfaithful after Marcus's birth. So, who knows? Maybe Ryan's Diggle and hers kid. Maybe she's Lucius Fox's and hers kid. There's definitely some issues that Jada has with Lucius Fox as well. So, who knows? Who knows? Would have been cool with Kate, but he figures out that some rando just took the name. He's kind of like, what the fuck? I think at the end of DC films fall behind the Arrowverse and other shows because, unlike the shows, they embrace the silly and the movies want to win Oscars over entertainment. No, the movies want to earn money over entertainment. I don't think WB gives two craps about Oscars. They just want money over entertainment. That's my perception of the whole thing. But anyway, guys, that's it. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everybody.